Hi everyone. Today we're going to be working with systems of equations, the elimination strategy. So elimination strategy is similar to substitution. It's going to be a little more accurate than graphing because it is all done mathematically. You're using numbers and calculating, so just in case there's any decimals or anything like that, it's a little easier to see than in graphing. So elimination is the act of eliminating or canceling out one variable and solving for the other. Once that is done, you use that amount to solve for the last variable by plugging it into the original problem. So if you struggled with substitution, hopefully this is the method for you. So our example, using the elimination strategy, find the solution to the equations negative 5x minus 5y equals 0 and negative 9x minus 6y is equal to negative 3. So let's begin. I just want to write my equations over here. Okay, so our first step. Step 1. The goal of the first step is to get the same number in front of x or y, but with opposite signs. If your equations already have this, then move to step 3. So before we move on, let's check that. I have a negative 5 and a negative 9 in front of x. That's not the same number. And then negative 5 and a negative 6 in front of the y. That's not the same number. Okay, so then let's move on. If not, pick a variable to eliminate and find one number they both can multiply into. Sometimes you only need to multiply one number to reach this goal. Unfortunately, we can't do that. I can't multiply 5 by anything to get to 9, and nothing I can multiply by 5 to get to 6. So I'm going to have to multiply both equations. So I'm going to pick a variable. It doesn't matter which one. You can cancel out either x or y. I'm going to choose x just because I feel like it. So I see negative 5 and negative 9. So I want to think in my head, what number can 5 and 9 both multiply into? Well, if I multiply 5 by 9 and 9 by 5, I'm going to get 45. And that is the same number. Great. Let's move on to step 2. Multiply the entire equation by the number to get to your decided amount. Make sure to use distributive property. And at the end of this step, the same number should be in front of a variable, one positive and one negative. So as I said before, the number that I want to reach is 45 in front of x. So in order to get there, I need to multiply negative 5 by 9. And over here, I need to multiply negative 9 by 5. Uh-oh, though. If I multiply 9 by negative 5 and 5 by negative 9, they're both going to be negative. So what I'm going to do is just pick one and put a negative in front of it. Let's put a negative in front of this one. So now I can use my distributive property. 9 times negative 5x is negative 45x. 9 times negative 5y is negative 45y. And 9 times 0 is going to be 0. Make sure you multiply by that last number as well. So same thing over here. Negative 5 times 9, or negative 9 is going to be 45x. Negative 5 times negative 6y is going to be positive 30y. And then negative 5 times negative 30 is going to be 150. Great. Moving on to the next step. Take your two equations and add going down. One variable should be eliminated. So before we do the step, let's triple check. I have 45 in front of my x as a negative and a positive 45x over here. That's great. So if I have my two equations, can now follow my next step is adding down, and this is where the elimination comes from. I have a negative 45 and a positive 45. Negative 45 and a positive 45 cancel out or eliminate. And now I can just add the rest down and worry about the y. Negative 45y plus 30y is going to be negative 15y. And 0 plus 150 is 150. Great, I've taken something that's super big and now condensed it into a small little equation. And now we can move on to step 4, which is divide the number in front of the variable on both sides of the equal sign to get the value. Okay, so negative 15 is in front of the y. I'm going to divide everything by negative 15 and get y is equal to negative 10. Yay, I have my y. But I know I'm not done yet because I still need an x. And that leads us to step 5. Plug in your value into an original equation and solve for the remaining variable. So it does not matter what original equation you use, as long as you use an original equation, just in case you made a mistake. So I'm going to use the first one as negative 5x minus 5y equals 0. But now instead of y, I'm going to plug in negative 10 to get negative 5x minus 5 times negative 10 is equal to 0. And from here we can solve by multiplying my negative 5 times negative 10 is positive 50. Then subtracting 50 on both sides. And then dividing by negative 5 to get x is equal to 10. Yay, I have my 10. Now I'm going to move on to step 6, which is write your values as a point. I have my x value as 10, my y value is negative 10, and I have my answer. Remember, it's always good to move on to step 7, which is check your answer by plugging in your point in the other equation. If each side of the equal signs are equal or the same, it is correct. So I'm going to pick my other equation, which is negative 9x minus 6y equals negative 30. And now instead of x, I'm plugging in 10. And instead of y, I'm plugging in negative 10. So I have negative 9 times 10 minus 6 times negative 10 should equal 30. Oh, negative 30. Negative 9 times 10 is negative 90. Negative 6 times negative 10 is a positive 60. And that is correct. Negative 30 equals 30. We are correct. Now, very important, we have some special cases. So if both x and y eliminate, then it is either infinite solution or no solution. If the numbers after the equal sign also cancel out or leave a 0, then it is an infinite solution. Because 0 does equal 0, that means it's the same equation. However, if both x and y cancel out, but the numbers on the other side of the equal sign don't add up to 0, then it's no solution, because we know that 0 does not equal 7. So it's impossible. It is no solution. Good luck. I know you guys can do it.